We're out here to see a commemoration or updated marker, if you will, on a plaque describing the European presence here in Beaufort County, which goes back 500 years. When you talk about American history, everybody's talking about Jamestown or Plymouth Rock or lost colony of Roanoke, but we actually predate all of that by a long shot, going back to 1526. So we're celebrating the 500th anniversary today.
I always tell everyone how fortunate I am to serve aboard this depot. Not only to be a part of the history of the Marine Corps, we've been making Marines for 110 years, but to be on an island in a location that's seen European settlement that predates Jamestown by 45 years. And we're so honored to be a part of that. It's such a treasure, not only for the Marine Corps, but for South Carolina and quite frankly, the nation.
I was a military guy, and one of the things we always said is, I serve with the memory of those who've gone before me. It's those who preceded us. We have an obligation to live a good life today, but we also have an obligation to be informed about our lives by those who have lived before us.
Port Royal Sound is this amazing place that has drawn people for thousands of years. You had indigenous people here, you had the French, you had the Spanish, you had the English, and so there's this whole sequence of historical events spanning more than 500 years that tells the story of the founding of America from the indigenous people through the Spanish, French, and English.
I retired from Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort, and we knew that it had a lot of archaeological sites too, but they were Native American primarily. And the archaeologists used to tell me that this is where they would live in the wintertime and then move inland in the summertime. This island and this area has been occupied by all kinds of people for thousands of years. Native Americans lived here for generations and generations, and it's just a great place, as you can tell, for people to live and accessible by water when the Spaniards came too.
The scout for a man named Lucas Vasquez de Ayllón came into Port Royal Sound, discovered that there were a number of Native American villages scattered on the islands around. Ayllón comes back in an expedition with about 450 people to make a settlement. He also had about 150 soldiers. Came into Port Royal Sound, looked around, and the villages had disappeared.
Where we're standing, not only is it 100 years before Plymouth, but as a colony, this was the capital of Florida. I guarantee you the state of Florida isn't going to tell our history. It's up to us to tell our history, and that's what we're here to do today.
This is long before Florida, Saint Augustine, and the fact that we were the first capital of La Florida, or Spanish Florida, which people in Tallahassee won't tell you.
You have to understand your history to truly know where you're going. A lot of times, if you don't understand your history, you lose such an important element of what you're doing, where you came from, and what you can actually provide to future generations. Ever since I was, quite frankly, a little kid, found it fascinating to learn about those who came before us. And as I went to different locations, being in the military, in the Marine Corps, I had the opportunity to travel quite a bit. And every time we went to a new location, to truly appreciate that location and the people that were there, I always found it important to learn about their history, to provide context for where I was at the time.
So Ayllón determined he was going to go to a different location, sailed a little bit further to what most scholars now believe was somewhere near Sapelo Island in Sapelo Sound in Georgia. And he founded a colony called San Miguel de Gualdape, lasted about 4 months, was abandoned. Only 150 of the 600 returned to Santo Domingo.
There's all kinds of lessons from history, I think, that are important today. And so Santa Elena, the first colonial settlement in what's now the United States, it prospered for 20 years and failed. And so it's a story of adventure. It's a story of taking risks, but also there's like maybe failures that we can learn from. And so I think the more you read about history and the more you think about it, it helps shape decisions you make in the future. And I think that's really important.
Parris Island means everything to the town of Port Royal. It is in our roots, it is in our guts, and it's who we are. Parris Island is located within the town of Port Royal, and every day I wake up and I get to hear those Marines on the rifle ranges. I can hear them across the water. I can hear them having their training. It's a great way to start your day with a coffee and hear the Marines warming up and getting started. We owe everything to them, and it's just such an honor to have active duty Marines being made right here in the town of Port Royal. And then also, once they're done with their service, those veterans that make up so much of our community, the veterans, their families, their spouses, their children, it really is the backbone of the town of Port Royal and Beaufort County as a whole.
as president of the Beaufort County Historical Society, our job is to educate the public on the milestones, the stories, the sites that are important to our county. And we have a county that's really deep and rich in history.
I love history because it reminds me that we are simply a link in the chain. There is a past and there is a future, and we occupy this time. And how strong that link is up to us by what we do and what we say every single day. And it just reminds me that there were men and women that came before me that gave me so much, and there's going to be men and women that come after me that hopefully I'm able to do the same for them. And I kind of remind myself of that every day. I'm just here for a short time. I'm going to build on what was given to me and hand off hopefully a better world to the future generations.
So I hope the richness and the diversity and the depth of our history in Beaufort County is something that people take away, and I hope it gains some national renown as is deserved for it.
I hope they appreciate the history, learn more about it, get interested in it, and look into how this impacted the whole United States. I mean, as Larry Rowland says, history started in Beaufort County.
Be careful. I know they say I mounted this, so be really careful. Don't pull too hard on that thing. So, all right. Yep. Let's go ahead behind there and slip knot, and let's do our best to pull the cover down without pulling the marker down.